I don't know anything about that there notice board. I just wiped my hand on it, that's all.
Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at a time.
I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, just a sign at the crossroads of life. It was that Reaper, I bet. He's got a face that screams bored.
Okay.
I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot.
Or did he? Maybe he was dead the whole time already.
So none of you can elaborate further?
Shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see, we can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened.
That's right, yeah.
It don't pay to expect too much.
It's man's endless quest for knowledge that's destroying the world. That's what I think.
Do you really? In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could possibly have committed this crime is Baroque van Zieks. None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact.
Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses?
Most certainly, my lord.
Very well, then you may proceed, counsel.
We need more information. You just wipe your hand off of it. You also have no clue? It was the Reaper? He's got a face that screams bored? What? What do you mean by that?
Hold it!
What exactly do you mean by that?
Oh, come on now, don't tell us you've not noticed. He looks like he hates everything in the world, that fella. But not notice boards, they're the only one thing he likes. You can see it in his eyes.
But why would he move the board? I mean, it would have been better to just let the board lie there. It's incriminating evidence after all, right? If he was the murderer, I mean. If that was his hideout. I can't say I'd ever noticed.
I'll tell you one thing for free, though. I never took my eyes off that man on the floor, or off the Reaper, not for a second.
Sorry?
Well, I was that scared I couldn't. You never know what a feeling like that might do if you look away, do you?
If you didn't take your eyes off the defendant, you should be able to confirm categorically whether or not he was the one who moved the notice board.
I said I can. The Reaper did nothing of the sort. I can swear to that.
Okay.
I couldn't have missed it if he heaved the thing upright again and dragged it into a corner.
Right, glad we've cleared that up. What happened to the face that screams bored? I feel your pain, Kazuma. Let's press.
Hold it!
So you admit that it was the board you wiped your bloody hand on?
Admit it was to admit. It's their plain as day for all to see a smashing print of my right hand.
Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint, so you righted the notice board and pushed it into the corner, did you?
No, imagine the weight of that great lump. Do I look like a powerful and well-nurtured man?
Well, did you see anybody else moving the board?
I've got nerves of shit, I can tell you, but even I have my limits. There was a body on the floor in front of me, and the Grim Reaper himself standing over it. And there was precious little light inside either. My bottom lip was all a quiver.
In other words, this witness is unable to give definite testimony on that point.
Yeah, so it would seem.
Do you really have no clue about it?
Hold it!
When you say you were doing business with them, you mean you were selling them fireworks?
Yeah, what else? There's the Priory School just round the corner, see?
Tell me, did you sell them some of those big fireworks?
Those cheeky little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow their school to kingdom come. So I've been telling on them, letting the teachers know what they're up to.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I wouldn't want anyone to get hurt, so I let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys. Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them. And then, praise the Lord again, the kids all come back to me and to buy more. Everyone's happy, you see?
What the heck? Oh, what a racket.
Of course, and sometimes the teacher gives me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a busy old life selling explosives.
Venus is a guileful goddess indeed.
Oh well, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing, really. I'm never so good at it.
Oh? You're good at telling lies? What do you have to say, Mr. Sandwich?
Excuse me!
Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich?
If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it?
Of course not, no. Did Miss Venus' statement just now bring something to mind, perhaps?
Philosophical thoughts, deep philosophical thoughts.
Huh?
Let's say there was a great liar, and that great liar said without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing, I'm never so good at it.
A paradox.
Would those words of hers be a lie too, or the truth, in which case she's not a liar?
I mean, being a liar does not mean that person is speaking lies all the time, right? Yeah?
Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one, don't you think?
Not really. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it seems to me you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying, are you? I mean, Venus also suggested that.
What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that. And then wrap your whole party in firecrackers and set them off. That'll give you something to tremble about.
Holy crap, threats in the courtroom?
You have a startlingly disturbing mind behind that sweet and innocent face, young lady.
So, Miss Venus has lied in her testimony? Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich?
Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Can you elaborate, please, sir?
Oh, the blabbermouth here headed for the room where the gunshot seemed to come from, but there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him too. That's right, the rotten liar over there.
Are you not under oath? Kazuma, did you not make them swear an oath?
Do you mean to say that you did in fact betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all?
Where do you even light that fire stick? Match. Where do you even light them up? On your butt? What are you doing?
And what did I tell you, eh? I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I?
Yes, you mentioned it.
Well, that revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it?
Really? Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch?
So you did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief!
Well, now you come to mention it, I suppose perhaps. I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room, yeah.
You clearly remember, okay. Either you clearly remember it or you don't.
Well, I shall consider a fitting punishment for this perjurious act later. For the time being, you will immediately amend your testimony.
Of course, my lord. Maybe I did sneak along behind gossip and have a little peek in the room where it all happened.
Hold it! What did you see? You make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus?
Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. If you want my advice, though, I'd take everything I say with a big pinch of salt.
Alright, but you did in fact go to the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you?
Oh, please, as if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying.
The truth, please.
Well, alright, just a bit then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know.
Did you touch anything at the scene?
Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor.
The truth, please.
Well, alright, just a bit then. I had a look to see if there was anything I could sell. So I did give the place a once-over, but it was nothing to write home about.
Right, now, I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you?
Oh, please, as I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose change is all I had.
The truth, please.
Well, right then, I thought there might be something worth having underneath it. So I blasted the flipping thing. Sorry, flipped the blasted thing.
You're telling us that you did move that board?
I think that did slip out, didn't it?
I wonder why Kazuma is like that, because as he said, this changes nothing about the fact that only the defendant was in the room to kill Gregson.
What? You daft bomb pot! I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think.
So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps, to sell?
Oh, please, I should be so lucky.
The truth now.
I might have found this old pocket watch under the notice board, I suppose.
Oh God!
But a bit of junk like this can't be worth...
Oh, Gina? So it was you, was it? You are the one who took it. Gina?
Young lady, may I remind you where you are?
That watch there. That was a present to Inspector Gregson from the yard for a big case he solved 10 years ago.
The professor case, no doubt. The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub.
I see.
I swiped it off him once and blimey was he upset. He gave me a right earful. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did. Possibly not the best thing to go diving for then. It's not all that though. I took it to the Jabez's that night to ask how much it was worth, but the old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it. Said it wasn't working. Knocked about and worthless, he called it. I knew I should have lifted it. Oh, Gina! Oh, it says hard actual hero. That watch must be submitted as evidence at once. Oh, please, just as long as you promise to give it back when we're done. Not a chance. I'll swipe it off from ya if you try to get your grubby mitts on it again.
That's enough. Hand the watch to the bailiff forthwith.
No, children. Watch your manners.
Good lord. The glass appears to be broken.
More than likely, it shattered when the inspector was shot.
It doesn't take anymore either. Which is why Jabez didn't want it. What a waste, eh?
Yes, indeed. It appears to have stopped at the hour of 5.
Oh. Hour of 5. 5 o'clock was the time of death. When did they come in? I actually don't know where they came in. When did... Wait, but they did say that Gregson went in 15 minutes ago. Huh? That doesn't make any sense then, if he was already dead for a long time. I don't think I have evidence that says when the witnesses or when they heard the gunshot. The alleged gunshot. Huh. Exactly when the gunshot was heard then. Oh, wait, what? Which supports the prosecution's claim, of course. Wait! Really? The time of death is empty.
Well, it would appear that the mystery of the moving notice board has been solved at least.
And it changed nothing. $5 o'clock. The glass over the face really is badly cracked, look. Unless he was dead 5 o'clock in the morning and they found him 5 o'clock in the evening, like afternoon. 5 p.m., 5 a.m.
What a shame when the inspector clearly looked after it so carefully.
I imagine Mr. Sholmes could repair it, don't you?
Yes, I should think so.
He's very adept at things like this, a useful man to have around in fact.
But kindly remember that he's a great detective, Mr. Naruhodo, not an odd job man.
Oh, oops. Sorry. I wanted to look at this thing.
Oh, it fits the key. The key fits in it, right? That's a keyhole.
Ah, there's a little tiny keyhole here. Can you see? Oh, you already know. Okay, that's unexpected.
Oh yes, that's probably for the winder used to wind up the mechanism.
It looks a little unusual, don't you think?
Yes, you'd need just the right key to wind it, I imagine.
Why do I feel as though I've seen something? Something a bit like a key. That's about the right size to fit in this hole.
It would be wonderful if we had a key. Let's check carefully.
And there's a tiny little stub sticking out from this small hole here, look.
I suppose there must have been a little knob or something on that for setting the time.
In that case, seeing as we know the inspector took such good care of this watch, it probably broke when the incident occurred, didn't it?
Yes, of course.
Which could mean that there's a small part of the watch still at the scene, maybe?
The helmet of this charming policeman.
Okay. Yeah, just twist it off. Okay. What's that? A key. The tiny key.
Mr. Sato, do you think perhaps this key could be the key for Inspector Gregson's watch? Oh, yes, it could be. Let's try it at once. There's not a moment to lose.
Okay, why am I tampering with the evidence? I knew it, a perfect fit.
And look, the Inspector's watch has started going again.
So it has obviously just not been wound up, that's all. What is it, Mr. Sato?
Well, if the watch isn't actually broken after all, I have a feeling it could have profound implications.
Oh yeah, it's not broken at all. It's not wound up. It used up all the energy. So he might have not died at 5 PM, which is our theory at least.
She's deep in thought now. Perhaps I'd better start thinking deeply too.
And as predicted, it had very little bearing on the case.
Now then, continue, please.
You really don't know anything about anything?
Hold it!
But you did go to see what had happened in the room, didn't you?
Resto Street is my whole world. It's all I know, and I know all of it. I have to make it my business to know if I want to hold my sign up high.
So did you go and see what had happened? So you did go.
It's not the destination that's important, it's how you get there, isn't it?
Yeah, what's it called? Journey before destination. Did you notice the notice board in the room?
If you think about it, we're both the same species, aren't we? Both different members of the sign family.
The sign family?
So if I'd spotted it, I might have tried to trip it up out on the alpha signs in the sense of rivalry, I'd admit.
Someone really needs to tell you that you are Homo sapiens, not Homo signians.
Oh, he's talking about the sign itself.
Does that mean that you didn't notice the board?
I can only repeat what I said before. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, just a sign at the crossroads of life.
In which case, just who was responsible for moving the notice board?
Well, we already know who's responsible. Why are we doing this? Have we not gleaned enough information? He's got a face that screams bored.
Hold it!
Oh, we already did that. Oops. Yeah, he's got a face like a board. He hates everything and anything. Okay, the last one. The last statement. You can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot. How so? It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon that you all heard about the loud bang, wasn't it?
Maybe the notice board fell over, or maybe it didn't. Maybe I fell over, or maybe I didn't. But the Reaper's fate is sealed either way because of that gunshot we all heard. So your fate's sealed too.
My fate? That's right. The defense is fated to lose. And the prosecution to win.
Kazuma, are you still my friend or not? What are you doing?
In other words, it all hinges on that single gunshot. So if I could just find some problem with that part of their story, it may be possible to change all our fates.
Of course, none of that changes the fact that I heard what I heard, does it?
Not much to go on. As you've pointed out, Mr. Naruhodo, there's no question that a notice board was moved, so somebody must have done it. And we already know who. But it did happen after the event, so maybe Kazuma's right and it's not relevant to the case. But it seems to have been deliberately positioned so as to hide the body from view. So I feel sure that there's some deeper significance to all of this. Yes, I know what you mean. I've no doubt there are more clues to be uncovered. You're on the right track, baby. I can feel it. So follow your instincts. Alright then. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot.
Hold it!
Oops, sorry. Well, that's the thing that's in contention, right? We are asserting he did not die at 5 o'clock. But way before 5 o'clock. Even longer. Namely... yeah, he must have died before he could wind up the clock, so 24 hours at the minimum. Because the clock stopped. His watch stopped when we found it. That means he must have died before... yeah, before the energy went out.
Objection!
I'm afraid that's not necessarily the case.
Oh?
At the scene, we found this key to the winder of the inspector's pocket watch. A key. And having wound the pocket watch, we discovered that it in fact still works. You see, the watch didn't stop because it was broken at all. And that fact completely undermines one of your most fundamental premises on which this entire case has been built. What?
Order! But counsel, the watch was stopped at almost exactly 5 o'clock.
Yeah, which is why just when we heard the gunshot.
It is exactly the hour.
The time that was showing on the watch tells us nothing other than when it wound down. It's merely a coincidence that it happened to be at 5 o'clock.
Objection!
Even if that's true, the three witnesses here all heard the gunshot at 5 o'clock. So that's obviously when this crime was committed.
Objection!
No, that doesn't hold. Why not? Recall what Inspector Lestrade said only moments ago. The boss used it to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years, polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did. The victim was in the habit of winding his watch once a day in the evening. We can reasonably assume, therefore, that he wound the timepiece on the evening before he died as well.
Yes, that would be entirely reasonable.
But if that's the case, you wouldn't expect the watch to have completely wound down by 5 o'clock the following day.
Oh,
How do you explain that?
In summary, the evening before the day of the incident, when the gunshot rang out in that room, the inspector was already unable to wind his watch. You can't mean... What would stop a man winding his watch if he's been in the habit of winding it every single evening for 10 years? The obvious answer is that he was already dead. Exactly.
Order! Counsel, that is a most extraordinary claim.
Objection!
Extraordinary isn't a word, it's absurd. You claim he was already dead the night before? Do you really think that Scotland Yard's coroner would have overlooked something like that? On that subject, there's something rather surprising. There's actually an omission in the coroner's report. The time of death is not noted. That's right.
Wait a minute, you're forgetting that my legs went from under me when I kicked the door in.
What do you mean?
Well, like I said, I planted my hand in a dirty great puddle of blood.
Yes, so the victim's blood hadn't dried. It was fresh.
He catches on fast, doesn't he?
Objection!
Oh, that's true. Wait. But that blood could have explained in any number of ways. It could have been put there afterwards. Some fresh blood could have been poured over the victim's body. Does my learned friend think that fresh blood is available on every street corner? Why do you call me your learned friend? What are you saying? Kazuma, this is breaking my heart. Why do you do this to me? I'm crying. Well, it needn't necessarily have been human blood, of course. We've been told previously that Scotland Yard has no way to identify blood as human.
The problem is currently being researched. At present, you are correct. It is beyond our abilities.
So then, a chicken's blood could have been used for example. It's certainly a possibility that it wasn't the inspector's blood at all. Oh, I'm so glad, Susato, you're on my side and not on Kazuma.
Objection!
But a gunshot was heard at 5 o'clock that afternoon. That's beyond question. Is it though? What? Given that the time of death of the victim has already been called into question, it isn't beyond the realms of possibility that what these witnesses heard wasn't a gunshot at all. Oh please, what are you trying to say?
I just don't know what I heard, and it was a loud bang that came from their room. You listen to me. A street seller's ears are his livelihood.
Oh, you still have that whip? I don't doubt your ears, sir, but all you can state with certainty is that you heard a noise.
Explain yourself then, counsel.
A noise that sounds like a gunshot could have been made with the Venus firecracker.
Take that!
Something like this. The culprit could have set off one of these to fake a gunshot.
Good gracious, the very fireworks that are sold by the witness?
Now hold on a minute. Are you saying I did it? My pretty little firecrackers only make a little pop anyway, see? Not 100 of them together. The Venus special that you sell for 600 pennies sounds like this. Did I just waste another 600 pence of firecrackers? What am I doing? As the court can now attest, it sounds very much like a gunshot, in fact. Ah! You're trying to suggest that somebody set one of these fireworks off at a scene? I'm suggesting that somebody knew the defendant was in the room at 5 that day and sought to implicate him by creating a sound like a gunshot for these peddlers on Fresno Street to hear.
Objection!
But even the accused himself has testified that he saw no one else in the room at the time. Whether it was a gun or a firecracker, the only person present to cause that bang was Baroque van Zieks.
One whiff of a match and my firecrackers go pop. See? It's why people like them.
I fear for your fingers, young lady.
Objection!
Recently, during my time here in Britain, I've learned of a very useful invention indeed. Something called a time bomb.
Good heavens, a bomb?
Yes, a device that allows you to blow up whatever you like whenever you like.
Mr. Naruhodo, I worry that your unfortunate phrasing there may lead to yet another international incident.
What? What unfortunate phrasing? Blow up whatever you like whenever you like? Oh, international incident? What do you mean, Sasato? No, wait, it's the whenever you like part that's important. A timed device? Yes, exactly, a timed device. Something of that nature could have been planted at the scene. A device that was able to produce the sound of a gunshot long after the culprit had left. But where is it?
Your extravagant claim will have to be substantiated with evidence, Counsel. What proof do you have to suggest in any way that a timed device was employed?
What am I even saying? A timed device? The candelabrum? The candelabrum? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the wax will melt and then the candle will become smaller and smaller until it reaches the fireworks.
Take that!
As the court has already discussed, the tip of one of these candles in this candelabrum has been blown off.
Indeed, because it was struck by the bullet which presumably passed through the victim.
I don't think that's possible, my lord. Not possible? Why? Because of the scorching. Wait, did the coroner not state if the bullet has been passed through the body or not? The bullet exited the body from behind. Okay. It did pass through him. Because of the scorching, there are gunpowder scorch marks clearly visible on the broken candle.
Yeah, goodness, yes, but is it not the case that there was also scorching on the victim around the bullet entry wound?
That's right, there was. But as we heard earlier, scorching like that only occurs when the target is at very close range, a matter of centimeters from the gun.
Oh.
Which means that the scorching on the candle can't possibly be the result of gunshot. You're suggesting it came from the fireworks.
How can that be it?
The fact that there's such visible scorching on the candle suggests that the fireworks must have been right next to it when they exploded. Or to put it another way, the candle and firecrackers were joined together. The culprit somehow attached the firecrackers at a point partway down the candle. After the killer had left the scene, the candle slowly burnt down along with the other two, until eventually it ignited the fuse of the firecrackers, generating a loud and that is how these three witnesses came to believe they'd heard a gunshot at 5 o'clock.
Well, what a plot! And this implies that the victim could have died earlier than we've been led to believe, the previous day even.
No, just hold your horses!
Why are you so upset?
Honest Lord, he saw the victim going into the building, remember?
Oh yeah, right.
I couldn't forget that flame-colored hair, even if I wanted to.
The person you saw entering the building wasn't the victim at all. Consider this. Yes, someone else could have been wearing that wig. Obviously, anybody can wear a wig. So the person that these witnesses saw 15 minutes before the incident could easily have been someone else entirely wearing the red hairpiece.
Someone else? Do you mean to say?
But how did that third party escape the building? It was the same person who contrived the firecrackers trick. In other words, Inspector Gregson's killer. Pfft. Who's that? Oh, very impressive, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Kazuma? I'm really quite amazed you've come this far. But after all, wasn't I the one who told you that you had all the makings of a great defense lawyer? I also noted the lack of time of death in this report, a stark omission. But as far as I'm concerned, this whole country's justice system leaves a lot to be desired. Ooh, harsh blow.
Order, Prosecutor Azuki, you take that back. What on earth do you mean by that statement?
I hear that many of the leading members of Britain's judiciary are present to observe this trial today, so we cannot allow even the slightest doubt to be overlooked.
Ooh.
The defense's assertion about the time of death based on the victim's stop-to-watch is just conjecture. But while the possibility exists that my learned friend may be correct, we have a duty to explore it.
Well, certainly, I would agree with you.
And what immediately comes to mind is, of course, what was Inspector Gregson doing and where did he go on the day before the incident? Do you know? The inspector always carried out his investigative work alone. His movements were treated as confidential within Scotland Yard.
Even within the yard?
However, considering the evidence we've been presented with so far, I'd say it's fairly apparent that what case the man was pursuing, wouldn't you, my learned friend?
I do have a feeling about what case he might have been investigating.
Yes, I agree, surely. My lord,
the defense believes it can explain to the court the case that was being investigated at the time of his death.
Very well, counsel. Present your argument to the court. What evidence is suggestive of the case being investigated by the inspector on the day prior to the incident?
It would be the case of a missing husband.
Take that!
I can't say that I find your answer suggestive of anything in particular. Other than perhaps that it is utterly wrong. That much you have clarified most expertly.
What? What? Congratulations, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. You deserve a reward for that expert display.
Ah! What? Wait, what? Did you just draw Karuma on me, my friend?
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
I think, Mr. Naruhodo, that there's one particular piece of evidence that really does stand out in showing what case Inspector Gregson was investigating.
What? Okay, I have the answer now.
Wait, what? That was not it?
Hold on, let me save.
How was that wrong?
Is it the case of the Red-Headed League? Or the Reaper? Was he investigating the Reaper? Or did I have to present this photograph?
The
Take
sun?
that!
I can't say.
Okay, no, it isn't. What is happening? What is happening? I have to load. What is happening? It is not the missing husband? Okay. Okay. It's the wig then? Is it the notice board? The Reaper? But this is not Mr. Gregson's, right? Inspector Gregson's. Huh? What? The case being investigated by the inspector on the day prior. Yeah, it is the wig, right? So this does not make any sense. It has to be the wig. Right. Maybe he was investigating the Red-Headed League? The wig?
Take that!
I believe this red hairpiece points to the answer. Okay. We might assume it was part of a disguise used to carry out an undercover investigation. What? So it belonged to Gregson after all? That's what I'm saying? Huh.
Surely not. Such a brightly colored hairpiece would only serve to make the inspector more noticeable.
Yes, that's quite true. It would definitely have made him stand out in a crowd. Except, that is, in a crowd of gentlemen from the Red-Headed League.
The Red-Headed League?
So, you'd already worked it out.
What on earth is this all about? Is there such an extraordinary league of gentlemen?
The Red-Headed League is currently under investigation for a grand deception.
A deception of what nature, Counsel?
They've been targeting red-headed men across all of London and tricking them out of small sums of money. 2 men were arrested for the misdemeanor only yesterday, in fact. My lord, the defense calls for those 2 men to be summoned at once.
Two redheads?
Inspector Gregson clearly infiltrated the Red-Headed League using this hairpiece, so it's very likely that he had direct contact with these criminals. And it's quite possible that such contact led to more serious events.
I concur that we cannot in good conscience leave this new avenue unexplored.
Well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Well, it's another possible line of inquiry for us at least.
The prosecution will make immediate arrangements for the charged men to appear. Bring these 2 red-headed league conspirators before me, Prosecutor Azuki.
At once, my lord.
Very good. We will have a 30-minute recess. Court is adjourned.